and welcome to tonight's beer review, which I am dubbing the Muggy Audio Issues beer review. If you haven't noticed, I still haven't, after all these years, I still haven't figured out how to get good audio on my videos. I'm starting to be in awe of those people who go and pop out like YouTube videos every day. People say, oh, YouTube, that doesn't take any effort. Oh, you're a YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber. I have no aspirations of being a YouTuber. But god damn, getting all those leveling right, the lights right, and then on top of that, all the editing, which is a specialized skill in all itself, it's a real job. I gotta give them a hat tip for people who actually put effort into this. I put very little effort into this. If you can hear this video, I'm pretty happy. So yeah, that's enough rambling. Let's get to the special review tonight. So what are we reviewing? We're reviewing something from the Lanikai Brewing Hawaiian Wild Ale series. This is Aloalo Hibiscus Red Sour Wild Ale. And this is 7.3 ABV, 18 IBU units. And the local strain of yeast used is the Ka'oaho strain. The location name here is for basically Lanikai, which is the area not quite outside the window here, but maybe a good 10-minute walk away from here. So yeah, can't get more local than that. And this particular beer won the local first annual craft beer award for locally brewed beers in the sour category. Now, the second place one was Land of Rainbows, and as you remember from my review that I did for that one I really quite enjoyed. So if this one won number one, I'm really looking forward to trying this wild ale. I'm not sure if I went and read the back of the bottle beforehand with the previous wild ale that I reviewed, so why don't I do it right now? Lanikai Hawaiian Wild Ales. We're taking island-inspired, trademark, to the next level with our Hawaiian Wild Ale series, brewed with native yeasts and microbes that we've bioprospected from throughout the islands. From the tops of volcanoes to the depths of the rainforests and beyond, each bug we discovered is a genesis for a completely original brew. So sit back, relax, and discover a terroir that's distinctly Hawaiian. Basically, since you can't really grow hops very well in Hawaii, I know I've reviewed a Maui Brewing beer that used locally grown hops, but yields are quite low, considering that we don't have the temperate weather needed to really grow hops. And grain, we can pretty much grow corn very well here, and we can grow rice very well here. Not all strains of either, by the way. Wheat, barley, oats. I theorize you could probably get it to sprout, but you probably couldn't get anywhere near a good yield here. So that pretty much leaves adjuncts, which are they're adjuncts, and yeasts as what you can really focus on for giving a sense of terroir to a locally made beer. And I've almost rambled on for, well, it's 4 minutes now, so why don't we get to this beer here? I'm looking forward to it. Are you? Okay. So, it's had a little bit of time to warm, mostly because I've been having audio issues. Pouring it into a Belgian glass. Whew. And that has quite a bit of a bouquet to it. You can just smell it from pouring it. So, a opalescent, cloudy, reddish-brown color with a thin off-white head. Getting quite a few Belgian quad-like smells here. Almost like candied smells. hay. I'm going to top it off just a little bit more. I want a little bit more head here. I think as soon as like it really started, finished effervescing. Not too much effervescence here, but that's okay. Want a little bit more head. Hey, cherries. Almost like fermented cherries. You know, like cherries that have been let them get alcoholic, soak in alcohol for a while, or ferment on their own. Again, that sort of candied, carameled, almost Belgian-like smell. Funk, hay. Light amount of florals. Not really any the sort of juicy hibiscus smells, and I kind of associate hibiscus more with juicy kind of smells and tastes than floral ones. Honestly, the least sour smelling sour I've ever had. It smells very sweet, actually, as opposed to sour. So let's get to this, shall we? And it is sour. It is quite sour on the palate. Wow, it is a real contrast there in between perceived smell and taste right on the tongue. And interestingly, this sour is not a kettle sour kind of sour. There's not that sort of what I would call sweet tart's minerality to it. It's a sourness that's slightly vinegary in a pleasant way. The acidity in this must be very high. The mouthfeel is astringent and tannic. But honestly, it doesn't feel like it detracts from it, considering the bigness of the taste that we've got going on here. So underneath that blast of sourness, there's almost like dried fruit and nuttiness going on. Both dried fruit and nuttiness. It's strange. I'm getting like those candied fruit top notes, but there's no perceptible sweetness to this on the tongue. It is all in the nose. Yeah, I'd say that actually, yeah, a lot of the taste notes are very much reminiscent of a tawny port without any of the tawny port sweetness. There's some juiciness from the hibiscus there too. Candied hibiscus. You know, that's not a thing that exists, but yeah, that almost seems like how I could sort of describe this. There's also some funk in the mids. And just a slight barnyard in the finish, too. I kind of want to know what the gravity of this was. And, you know, what the actual malt bill, you know, how much malt they actually used for this. This is quite exciting. It almost feels, yeah, this wild yeast definitely almost feels like a wine yeast. You know, it's giving a lot more wine sort of taste notes and mouthfeel than sort of beer notes. It's really quite interesting. You know, obviously you wouldn't mistake this for a wine at any point in the blind taste testing. You'd say, yes, this is a beer. But it almost feels like one of those hybrid styles, like that New Belgium one that used Syrah grape must as part of the malt bill. There's no actual grape here, and honestly, Hibiscus generally doesn't sort of lead in that general direction, but add on that yeast and you got yourself some really interesting directions that went here. I also kind of wonder how it ended up so dark. Is there like caramel malts in this, or did the yeast go and do that as part of the fermentation process? It's all kind of interesting. As it warms up even more, finally some of the sweetness is starting to make itself known in the lasting finish, just ever so perceptibly. I'm getting a lot of silence here because I'm just, you know, there's a lot of complexity to this beer. And now, it may not be everyone's cup of tea. In that, there's a lot of, you know, you got those funk notes there. It's also pretty dang sour. Those funk notes, some pretty jarring taste notes. In fact, I would say that actually, in retrospect, Land of Rainbows, the #2 winner, is probably more sour, but you sort of expect that from the bouquet, whereas this, you know, it comes across, especially in the beginning, as more sour than it actually is, just from the disjunct in between how it smells, which is very sweet, versus how it is on the palate, which is pretty darn dry. Not completely bone dry, but pretty darn dry due to the high acidity. You know, I'm really looking forward to exploring more of this Lanikai series. It's a small local business, so I feel no guilt in, you know, giving them business. It's just kind of difficult to go and split my meager monies in the direction of what, you know, the local businesses here. I'm not a heavy drinker. I really only drink once or twice a week. I used to drink a lot more. I used to drink every day, which is why I used to do about 2 or 3 reviews a week as opposed to once a week. But, yeah. Wow. Excuse me. Now, this is something really exciting. So I'm actually more impressed with this one than I am with the previous one of the Wild Ale series, which was complex, but not quite my cup of tea. This one really suits me to a tea being sour, having those really nice complex Belgian notes. You know, taking me to really exciting places, taste and smell-wise. And still continuing to develop as it warms up. So, if you're in Hawaii, and if you're in Kailua, which is where I live, definitely go and pick up some bottles of these wild ales. They're not very well distributed elsewhere. The only other place I've seen them is Whole Foods, and I think the Village Bottle Shop also carries them as well. Sometimes you'll see them pop up in the growler fills. I know where I go at Three Peaks, where I usually fill my growlers. They sometimes have them. But yeah, if you make it down there, please get yourself a bottle. Between them, Beer Lab, and Big Island Brewhouse, they really do a lot of exciting beers. And quite a few of them, too. And not all of them out of the ballpark, but, you know, so when they do something, they make it really interesting. So, yeah. These are usually about $18 a bottle. And before you start wincing, it's a wild ale. They're usually also aged a while too. And this is Hawaii, where everything is ridiculously expensive. You know, just like a normal bomber bottle of, say, you know, some other craft beer. Say, like, I don't know, Hophenge by Deschutes or something like that will usually run $8 or $9. So, you know, this is not all that bad, really, relatively speaking. Yeah. Give it a try. I'm going to be looking forward to reviewing more of these in the future. It's almost 20 minutes. Had a lot to talk about with this beer. I don't feel I've explored it all completely. But I think that you guys should have a chance to definitely explore the wild world of wild ales using wild Hawaiian yeasts. That's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.